Yes. Gonna open the April 15th, 2026 select board meeting. Do you have any adjustments to the agenda?
I'd like to make one. I just wanted to discuss with the select board. Since the select board, before I was a member of the select board allowed me to use this room to host my driver's ed classes. And I have a couple classes coming up over the next several months. I just wanted to revisit that and make sure we're doing everything correctly. So we could do that maybe towards the end of this slide.
Okay. Anyone else have anything? If not, we'll take a motion to approve the April 1st, 2026 minutes.
I'll second.
Excuse me, were you taking questions or comments?
That's the next one on the agenda, Josh.
Thanks.
So I have one change. It's on the last page under the Clean Water Service Provider Grant. You have ball field in parentheses. It's it's near Amy Hayter's property. Four-wheel drive. No. It's across from the town and country. It's Amy Hayter's and Heath Road is how Hayter's and Heath Road is how we've used it on the grant. The ball field is done. We have any other comments? Hearing none, all those in favor? Opposed? So carried. We'll open it up now for community comments from the community.
Hi. I just want to make a comment about Act 181 and the negative impacts I think it will have on landowners in our town.
Okay, go ahead.
I just wanted to see if the board has a position on that. I think it will hurt our tax base and affect landowners developing their property in our town. I've been following a group that's been writing to legislators recently to repeal a couple. And then there's also a tier 3 mapping that I think could harm a lot of people in our town. And I just wanted to see if you were aware of that. I've also noticed a lot of towns have written to the legislators, the select board, about how they feel about this. And I was just wondering if our board has a position on that or would be interested in doing that.
So let's take one at a time. The tier 1, 2, and 3. I'm aware of it because I sit on the Regional Planning Commission and they call it the LURB. I forget what that stands for.
Land Use Review Board.
Yeah, the new Land Use Review Board requires that all towns be mapped. I'm not sure if we have any tier 3 in our list. Do we have any tier 3 in
I
our?
think we do.
I know there's up there, has to do with headwaters, doesn't it?
Yeah, there's wildlife corridors and a bunch of other things in tier 3.
Sure. So I just don't think it's very science-based, and I think it will affect a lot of the maps aren't even finished yet, and this law's already been passed. And so I'm trying to voice my concern that I'd like it repealed. And I'm wondering if the select board would write a letter to the legislators stating on how it would hurt a lot of our landowners.
Does the other board members have any idea what he's talking about?
I mean, so Josh, this is Dylan Patrick. So I've been following the news, and I have an article from Vermont Digger, and I've been hearing this from other outlets that there's a lot of movement in the House and the Senate right now to postpone the implementation of Act 181. And the chair of the House Environmental Committee, it's Representative Amy Sheldon from Middlebury, was said on yesterday that the tiered land use classification system set forth in the act was dividing Vermonters and needs rethinking. So I think there's a lot of momentum already in the legislature to at least put this on hold and not implement it. But I don't know that I personally know enough about it yet that I would want to send a letter just yet. But from what I've been reading in the news, I agree. The rural there's an imbalance between environmental protection and property rights for rural landowners. That's I think problematic from everything that I've read. So at the moment, I agree with you. But I need to do a little bit more reading on the actual details personally before I'd write a
Okay.
letter. Yeah.
That's great. Well, I just wanted to make you all aware of it, and I'm glad that we're talking about it. So thank you so much.
Wait a minute, Josh, do you have information that you maybe could share with the board so we could learn a little bit more about it?
Sure.
That your
Well,
group is, maybe you could email to Michelle so that we could take a look at it?
absolutely. Yeah. Who should I email?
Michelle is our select board assistant.
So Josh, you can email, just see if it's easiest, I'll just give you the TC for town clerk.
Perfect.
At wolcottvt.org, and then Belinda will send it to me. Yes.
Okay. Perfect. I'll send you all the info I have. And yeah, it was mainly on road rules of people having driveways or roads on their property longer than 800 feet, even if it's not being a subdivision, it would trigger Act 250, and as well as being in a habitat corridor, which they haven't even mapped yet, which will come out and no one knows what it is. So it's kind of alarming, and it's got me interested. And so I just wanted to put that out there and get as many people interested as possible. So thank you.
Well, thank you.
All right.
We'll look forward to your information.
Okay, great.
Yeah, Josh, there's a really good article on Vermont Digger that came out middle of the day today. It looks like it's touching on everything you just mentioned. So I think that'd be a good one to check out if you haven't seen it yet.
Thank you.
Do you have any other comments from the community at this time? Hearing none then, we will move on to correspondence.
And Monica just popped in,
Allison.
and that's Dawn and Allison. Monica, we just did comments from the community. We're just about to close it. Just checking if you have any.
Nope, none at all.
Yeah, thanks.
So in our correspondence, we have pass around April's workshop with the Vermont League of Cities and Towns. And also some information about free Vermont Community Sunscreen Dispenser Program for 2026. You have to apply by April 17th. So I read this and saw it, but I didn't know where we would use it.
Read that email that I attached on the back, because I inquired further. They said that there may be uses along the rail trail, and that's another discussion. But just note that refills, they'll set you up with the dispenser and 1 unit of sunscreen, and then the refills are $77. They think that you'll go through 1 or 2 a year.
So yeah, I've reached out, and because we are this close to the rail trail, they recommend that we do it. Okay.
But they read a little bit about
Yeah.
the rail trail there.
But, and I thought about that, but, will it get, vandalized?
Well, I wondered if we could put it near our portalette, maybe that, or under the gazebo.
Probably under the gazebo would be
Yeah.
better. That is the parking area.
Well, I'll pass it around and then we'll come back to it and you can tell me whether you're interested.
They have, any information for rail trail users to say, hey, there's sunscreen stations at these locations?
They would put them on the map
Oh.
eventually, yeah.
Okay.
They're now kind of negotiating separately with
Right.
the rail trail people to figure out how to make this work. via the rail.
Okay.
Just to prevent melanoma, obviously.
I mean, I think it's a great idea. I just don't want it to cost the town a bunch of money.
Well, again, $77, that was my first thoughts, 77 a year currently. For the dispensary fills.
Sure.
But everything else is free.
Well, we could just buy one a year. It's gone, it's gone. The board likes the idea. And who's doing this?
This is,
The health department? or-
Vermont Community Sunscreen Dispenser Program.
Oh,
yeah, there's a bunch of big sponsors of it. The Dartmouth Cancer Center, Impact Melanoma, University of Vermont Medical Center, BTAAC, but I cut off what that stands for. I don't know that one. Vermont Department of Health is where this email came from.
what's the board feeling like?
I think it's. We spend $77 and put sunscreen out, and that keeps one person from getting skin cancer, worth it. And maybe it's something, if we're gonna continue to buy one a year. Maybe at town meeting next year, we could put it in the,
Yeah, I'd have to go with
In the
budget
budget.
if we agree to do that. Do you have a recommendation, Michelle?
As far as yes or no, going through this. I think it's a good idea. I mean, if it was gonna cost us a lot of money for the refills, I was gonna take. I personally would have said no, but as Dolan said, I think it encourages people to think about sunscreen. And oftentimes people forget about it, so most people bring their own, but I think it covers. The number of people who are out there, especially the children.
What about, do we have any kind of contract like agreement that we have to, like, if we do it for the first year and decide not to continue, do we have an agreement?
It does state in there that you must then refill it every year. I think it states that on the first page. I don't know that you signed an agreement, you may in the application. That's why I was just wanting to find out what we're committing to as far as the refills.
Yeah,
And
it says continue
Yeah.
use in the futures. So if you start it, you can't stop it.
I don't know, they also gave me the cost of like the dispensers and everything, so I don't know if it's vandalized, if we are responsible for replacing the dispenser. I didn't get that far.
What's the board's pleasure?
Personally, I'm indifferent.
Me too. Not a lot of money. I don't particularly feel like buying another dispenser if someone vandalizes it though.
It says the sunscreen is $77 a unit, but you're gonna pay $65 to have it shipped here.
Oh, wow.
Oh, I didn't read that. I think it's that one.
So
but we got Kurt reading the phone. Yeah, if we have to use their sunscreen, we can't just.
Well, it's the bags, like these things, it looks pretty much like this. So it comes in a bag with them. Okay.
I think I'd say not yet.
Okay.
That's my opinion.
It'd be nice to put a sign up.
Yeah.
Over here at the little here repair tire station for bikes saying, did you forget your sunscreen?
Okay, let's move on then to the town clerk review, final audit and tax sale lawyer resolution.
Okay, so in front of you guys have the audit. Take it home. Read it at leisure. Big me, big work, but you know, yes. The most important thing is the management letter. So that is a separate document in front of you. That's what we'll go over. So the back page is basically, they became aware of several matters referred to as a management letter comments that offer opportunities for strengthening inner control and improving operating efficiencies of the town of Wolcott. The following page summarizes our comments and suggestions on these matters. So if you go to page 2, journal entries, this is because I do, I have a journal. I have a cash receipts journal, and between Nikki and I, everything that comes in here, cash or check or credit card, gets put in this book. They think I can eliminate it and just use Excel sheets. So they're just telling me I'm antiquated and I need to update, even though I do like my journal entry book. The next one is related, party contracts. I was not able to provide them a contract with Jim Parody for a culvert that was done on North Wolcott Road. So they're just letting us know we review our procedures and adjust as necessary to ensure compliance with any negotiated work agreement, state and federal requirements. So they're just letting us know that there was one instance where we did not get a contract. Second,
Was that a federal or state job?
I don't know if it was part of FEMA because it was done later on short.
No, and it was awarded to him. I mean, I probably shouldn't speak on this, but it was awarded to him before we adopted the procurement policy.
Exactly.
Well, before I started it.
Right.
So, but they noticed I couldn't, produce one, and I said, never seen one for it. The fund accounting and software, we use QuickBooks, and they are, because we are getting more federal and state funding based on ARPA funds and our wastewater. They are recommending that we evaluate a more robust municipal accounting software designed to maintain separate governmental funds and provide dedicated grant and project tracking capabilities. Implementing a system that supports true multi-fund accounting would strengthen internal controls, improve reporting accuracy, and reduce the risk of non-compliance. Basically,
They want you to use NEMRIC by the sentence.
yeah, and it's 10 grand or more. So I'm telling you, and it's antiquated itself, as we have found out, but they would want us to put everything, use the cloud, and I'm not really sure if we're ready for that. One of the things I discussed with Michelle and Linda is with the wastewater, what we could do is make a whole different company and open a whole different checkbook that would have to do with the grants that have to do with the wastewater. That seems to be what they're the most concerned about. And it's because it's in the millions. And so we could do it that way, or if the board wants to think about it, we could eventually go to NEMRIC or another software. I did look into another software that Essex Junction has, but it's over 20,000.
And NEMRIC's not cheap either from everyone that's
No,
switching.
it's 10 is what the components he told me. And then the other part is moving everything in, like Michelle talked to me about is all the past amount, but when I talked to Chris, I only talked about going forward, so I don't even know how much that would cost.
They, Nemrick is priced à la carte, so they're giving you $10,000 quote just to start up new. And then what it would be to maintain that, but you have to import all of that data that you have, otherwise all that data are lost from the past. And so if Linda wants to pull up a 2019 flood, what invoices did we use? And we're still doing that just to close these grants out.
Mhm.
I don't know that what it will cost, or if they even can import that data. I'm sure they can, but what will it cost us to bring in all of those years?
And QuickBooks right now cost us less than $2,000 a year.
Is QuickBooks not cloud serviced at all?
No, we have the desktop version. We do not have the online version, no.
Okay,
They are discontinuing the desktop and requiring everybody, what, next year to move to?
2028.
and this is the Intuit QuickBooks, it's Intuit, right?
Into it, yeah.
They'll still have enterprise for.
Yeah, they will.
They'll still be able to get it. It's just.
Okay, and I'm reading the third section here. And it says, its concern is that a lot of these activities are within the general fund.
Yes.
Is there a way to break out
Well, that's why
our departments? And
well, right now we have all the departments separate, except the town is all in one. Because the grants that basically for the wastewater and everything are town funds. We track them under the grant, but we don't track them in a separate account. You see what I'm saying? It all goes through the regular main account.
Like the transfer station has a separate account.
Totally separate. It's called the business.
Separate checks.
Yes.
Everything is separate.
So is the library, so is the cemetery, all that.
so,
But the wastewater is, right now is wrapped into,
But I can unwrap it if you guys want us to.
would that be appropriate?
well, you're going to need to when the wastewater is complete because, that will be an
Why not?
enterprise, when you have your water commissioners, and so that will not be tax money. It can't be blended in. It needs to be a separate.
So the
Okay.
only thing with making it separate is I would have to get a loan for the wastewater. I don't know how much to start up because it would not be it wouldn't be funneled through the town who always has a tax base and money in the account
Right.
to cover those invoices because we get invoiced and then we get reimbursed.
So
Correct.
maybe a good time is when, and I was gonna bring it up under, updates. I have the amount that was recommended, to take out the loan, maybe when.
It's actually just a revolving credit line.
Right,
Line of credit is what it's
Yeah.
called. Yep.
1.124 million, because that's the amount of money that the voters authorized us with the bond vote.
Correct.
So that's the recommended amount to borrow.
So starting July 1st, I could get that money.
You might want it before.
Okay, so you're even thinking before, and then July 1st, we can track it separately in QuickBooks, have it as a whole separate entity.
Would there be any complications getting the line of credit for a newly established entity?
No, because it will still be under the town, we'll just call it the wastewater
The
system.
new entity is just within QuickBooks.
Yeah, it's like the transfer station.
Yeah.
Okay, so the transfer station, if they needed credit, they could lean on the town for credit?
Yes, because it's the same EIN number. Yeah. And then the fourth one is annual employment agreements. They noted that the town does not consistently utilize formal written annual employment agreements outlining compensation, benefits, duties, and other key terms of employment. They're saying we are functioning fine now, but they would like to recommend that in the future, But of course, this does not have to do with elected officials. This would just be, employees that are hired by the town, like the road crew, like the select board, assistant,
Janitor.
like the janitor and stuff like that. I don't know if the library trust, library would be under this or not. I don't know. This is not my, you know. But,
Read the statute.
right. It talks about leave provisions, job responsibilities and stuff. So this is just, they're called, employees at will or whatever. So they would be, you would have to have a contract about what they would expect or get and when they would leave. Of course, we do have the union, which basically does cover employees over there. But I don't know if you ever had a non-union, if this would have to be. I don't know.
We basically have these together. We don't have, I believe they even our contracts that I've been pulling together for every position. And it's based on the job description as well as, I believe it says at will in there, but I can add that if necessary. You cannot apply this to the road crew. So it would be
You can't apply the at will or you can't apply the contract.
both because they sign their contract. So when they're in the probationary stage, I have them sign the contract. And then that becomes, I think, nullified once they join the union. If they don't join the union, then they would still be under the contract. I just had not been using.
No, like we learned last time we talked about union things, if they don't join the union, they're still covered by the union, they just don't pay dues.
But are they covered under like, but then they still need to sign our contract, I think.
They'd be covered by the union negotiation. Yeah.
But that's the benefits, but and that's where it gets like.
And. Right, yes.
There is one, it just says that we recommend that the town consider implementing standardized written annual employment agreements for key personnel approved by the governing body and documented in the minutes. So I think they just want to see the documentation, go before the whole select board. Even though there's not too many people, because most of us are elected.
And that can happen every July 1st if we review those or whatever. It's again, they're already pulled up. Buddy, I think except Belinda and Belinda and the ATC, the assistant town clerk. I don't have those, but I have them for the listers.
Right, I'm elected. I don't, and she's my employee, so I don't know if that would have to be an agreement too. So that's a question I have for the lawyer.
Well, she's an employee, so it would be for the library, the listers.
I'm not sure about the library.
Yeah, really.
I'm not even.
But I think what we need to do is look at the statute for the library and see, maybe we can ask the library trustees or tell them they need to have a contract with Sally if she doesn't have one with us.
I think they do that one already.
Yeah, it probably should be in over here too. We should have a copy.
So that brings me to the management letter, and if you guys have questions after looking at the audit, let me know. It's pretty standardized. There are no real surprises other than what they say on fund balances, which is not what I agree to, but basically because they are putting FEMA money that we have gotten since then in this year as accounts receivable, it made it sound like our fund balance was over 400,000. But that's based on the fact that we were expecting all that money. So I call it, it's here, but it's not here. In other words, it looks good on there where they put that the accounts receivable is over 700,000. And what we had spent in last year wasn't quite that amount, and so that left us a fund balance.
And did they take into account the money that we have to send back?
They did the one that you,
I had three.
yeah, the three of them, but they can put them as counts payable. So that still left us with a fund balance.
Yeah,
that-
so we'll have to wait
I'm
until the
hoping-
washout, because
Yes.
you never know. until it's
Right,
done.
until FEMA's closed, it's a moving target at this point. So I don't know what to tell you. This is my first single audit and it was interesting. I learned a lot. And then I learned things that I don't think that would ever be implemented here because we're such a small town.
Do you know how they came up with the value, page 12 of the actual audit? They have the vehicle's value net of depreciation as 315,000. And I mean,
It's based on a formula of what, they say. What we say are in our town report, we have a list of equipment.
Yeah, and I noticed there were some
Yes,
strange values in that list as well.
Isn't it an actuary? That is an actuarial table that defines the depreciation?
There's something further back here, yeah, that's how they calculated it, but I didn't know if they used the table from the town report or if they had their own.
they look at both and then they, size them up, is how she put it. It's the same way with assets. And if we do something and it's considered, like she kept saying, is it putting back what was there? Or was it, did you upgrade? Did you, based on how much you spent, was it an upgrade? Is the town in a better position with that road and stuff? And I had to answer all these questions and I have to say, sometimes I had to refer to, other people because I don't know this.
It's just interesting, given that all of our equipment is only a few years old, it's $100,000 less than it was last year.
Yes,
While our infrastructure is almost $750,000 higher,
yes.
so I just was curious.
And the reason why is because that bridge, we own it, even though it's not complete yet. They put in the price of half of what that bridge would be by the end of this June.
God love a cruel account.
Yes. So I can explain that to you because I questioned this myself. Because, and then they kept saying, do you own the bridge? And I'm like, well, eventually we will, but there's no bridge there now.
Look out the window, what bridge?
So that was complicated under assets, to be honest. So this is what I learned about single accounting. I know nothing. I really don't, because I believe what is there is what you have for an asset, not what you're going to have. So, but that's how they evaluate it. What is the town, in the process of receiving? And what will it be valued at? And that's it.
Even if it's FEMA funds that aren't there, we're still.
Exactly. But that's what's expected. This is what you're gonna get. And so we have to value that as an asset or a improvement, whatever. Your town is much better off because this is happening, basically.
Where did they get the info on page 62, the Schedule B? Looking at, I mean, just off the top of my head, the highway numbers stick out to me. And they're saying that our parts and repair expenditures were $79,000 last year. And that's, I don't recall reading that. I mean,
Cool. So if we paid bills in July that actually were billed in June, that puts it back into this year.
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
I just, when we were looking
Yes.
budget season, I didn't see any numbers.
See, we do cash.
Yeah.
They do not.
Okay.
They look at anything that is going to be paid in July is basically a June bill.
Okay.
I know. Like I said, I learned a lot this year. The other thing, the next thing is about hiring I finally found a tax lawyer. I have asked and asked. I had one and he did nothing. From Bauer, Gravel and Farnham. So I now have Amana Hand Safar. Her name is Kristen Shamus. And she is going to become our tax lawyer. I have ones, the list goes all the way back to 2022 for some people, 22, 23 taxes. So we are going to have a tax sale. But first, there has to be a select board resolution allowing me to hire her. We have to have this signed before we go to tax sale. I realized after a phone call that I forgot to mention this resolution. The statute allows you to hire legal help for collection with legislative approval. There tend to be one or two bidders at the tax sale who will specifically ask about select board approval, so we make sure to have a resolution approved. And please let me know if you have any questions about this. So Michelle has a resolution, I gave her to be signed. So the first initial letter that goes out, she charges us, the letter, which I sent in an email to you guys, basically is what I sent out to them, but now the attorney's behind it, and maybe they will get on board with paying it. Anything over, anybody over 1,500 should be put up for tax sale as well. And as long as it's more than a year old. So, I've had some people start paying with an agreement and then just suddenly stop. So I'm left not getting money. The other thing is, so she gave us a sample of what she would send to one of the taxpayers, which was in the email, and then I gave her a list of who didn't have active agreements right now. And so I'm asking for the select board to sign that and let me hire a tax lawyer to help me.
So the company's name is Monaghan Sapphire.
SAFAR, Safar.
Sapphire.
Yeah, as far as I know, that's how
Where are
you say
they from?
it. Oh, let me see. Sorry.
That's all right.
Um,
It's not that important. So,
Burlington, Williston, and Jeffersonville. That's where they have offices.
so we're authorizing to hire them, and the law firm is hired on an hourly basis and fees to be assessed against the delinquent taxpayer in an amount not to exceed 50% of the delinquent taxes.
Yes.
The town pays the difference between, is that what she gets for her hourly fee? And the town to pay the difference, if any, as part of the town's regular tax collection. So it sounds like she has an hourly rate.
So it's, to send out the first, it's $100. She just charges $100 for the initial letter. And then after that, if we go to tax sale, that taxpayer reimburses her.
15%.
Right.
And whatever the other cost is, we have to pay.
Right, like if copies and stuff like that.
Well, if,
No, that's,
no, I think she's gonna charge us more than that. I mean, if she's making $100 just to send a letter.
was it,
Well, but that's for all the letters, just $100 for all the letters.
Okay.
this was 15% or 50?
15, and that's by state statute.
That's
I
state
think
statute.
that's all the state statute allowed to charge the taxpayer, delinquent taxpayer. And so if it costs more,
But it's 15% of the delinquent tax.
yes,
So it basically discourages us for going through this process for small tax.
That's why it has to be 1,500 or more.
Right.
And most of them on my list are 4,000, there's tons of them. Well, not tons, but, this one right here is 3,800, this one is 39,
so,
27.
we don't really need to know the names and the amount.
Right.
Public, but I think for the record, it would be good to know what the total is. So, Michelle could put that on record, what
Yes, yep,
the total amount outstanding is as of today.
okay. Yep, I'll give her that.
Can you give it to us too?
Oh, I can, yeah, I would, let me add it up. Sorry, that's all right. Now, she is going to try to make agreements with them that they would continue to pay the town, and she thinks if the lawyer sends the letter, I sent it, but it didn't seem to have much impact. She thought that this would be better. And if, you know, and if they agree to that, then, you know, there's not much that she will have to do, because then it'll come back in house until they maybe don't pay again. But, you know, she's saying that, you know, she'll give it a try and see what happens. Like some of these, I just don't know if they will ever pay. I mean, and it's been years since they've, you know, even paid anything.
Well, she's adding that up. We're also gonna be resolving that we're going to designate a town official to be authorized to bid at the tax sale in any amount equal to all delinquent taxes, interest, penalties, and fees owed at the time of tax sale. So generally, at a tax sale, if no one bids on the property, the town does to save it. But we've been advised in the past, we do not bid on mobile homes or unlanded mobile homes or property that probably are brownfields.
Yes, or have maybe some problems.
Yeah.
So it's a little under 55,000. It's $54,477.95.
Chunk of money.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, what was that?
$54,477 and, oh, I forget the cents.
But I love
14.
sunscreen with that.
Yeah.
So who are we designating to you?
Well, they advised it not be the town clerk,
Oh.
because I am also your agent as delinquent tax collector.
Oh.
They recommended that it be another agent. You could appoint Michelle, or you could appoint one of you guys.
Could we do the select board as a whole? I mean, that way there, if anyone.
But you would have to be at the tax sale.
That's what I mean. If
Yeah.
we just said the select board, then if my availability doesn't work,
And
Carissa's,
Yeah, yeah, you could say a member of the select board. Yeah. Yep.
So but you're hiring Monahan and Safar?
Yep.
You would, okay, I just am trying to capture this motion.
Well, the select board has to give me permission to do it. That's
So I'll make the motion that the select board adopt the resolution regarding collection of delinquent.
I can't type that fast.
No, she'll give it to you. You can have it. I'm gonna make a motion to adopt the resolution regarding collection of delinquent real property taxes. That's all we have to do is adopt this resolution.
Yep.
I'll second the motion.
Do you have any other discussion or questions on this resolution?
Can I read it?
Yep.
Also, on the letter she would send out has on there that if they may be able to receive an abatement, all the correspondence has to say that now, because, you know, they could
Can I?
meet one of the criteria.
I put this on the elbow?
Yeah.
I'm gonna sign it.
Well, before you sign. So it's in the the record. I'm gonna read them. Anybody else need to read it? Alright, so there's a motion,
Can I may I read that back? Motion by Martin to adopt the resolution regarding collection of delinquent real property taxes, seconded by Parity.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried.
Okay, I'm done. The only thing I get left in front of you guys is, the budget versus actual through the April 15th, the bills have been paid, for the April, most of them that we, received for March. So this is giving you an idea of what the budget is looking like for towards the end of the, year, which is the end of in May, I will give you an updated one for your last meeting in May. And then in June, we do one, because in the last meeting in June, we'll talk about if we're going to hold over funds, commit them, assign them, how we would do that. What would be left in the budget, if anything, at that point, so we will visit that then. In the meantime, if you have any questions on any of the profit and loss, just give me a call or email me and let me know. Oh, yeah. Sorry I took so much time. I thought it was gonna take more than 15-20 minutes.
All right, we're gonna move on to the community garden plan and further public engagement. We put this on the agenda tonight because part of the application requires, you need to show what kind of public engagement, you reached out to.
How do I?
I guess, just open it up to public comments on, you want to lead this discussion first? The public comment period for your application.
Sure, anyone wants to know any information or wants to make comments?
So we'll be looking for, approval or disapproval of having the community gardens. Tori from the planning commission, that would occur, and they laid out a section in the 64 School Street property that they'd like to have that. So we're just taking thoughts on that to strengthen our application.
Oh, can I speak?
Sure, Mike.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. It's about time we finally have a community garden that's bigger than what, 8 raised beds? No, I think it's a great idea, and I think it will help a lot of people. And I know that there's a lot of people in the village that don't have room or space. And I've also been thinking lately, there's probably a lot of elderly people that can't really go out and till their own gardens. So this would be a good, option for them too. I say the bigger, the better. I mean, we have the space, so. And also, I think that we should think about leaving some space available on that property for some kind of future community playground. I know that's separate.
Yeah, we have a separate plan, and that was one of the things we brought up, and we're gonna probably submit our application later in the year because right now we're leasing that property down in that area to the CCS while they're working on the bridge. So we'll probably do it this fall, submit our application. Tori will. At our last meeting, we talked about it, and Tori's going to lay out a map for us too. But it seemed like you really wanted to get on this garden, so we pushed this
Yeah.
ahead.
Yeah, it sounds great. I'm all for it, and I think the bigger the better. And in leaving any available space in the future for like future growth, and or expansion if necessary, that would be a great thing too. But yeah, I think I'm all for it.
Allison Hayes and Dom, I can't remember his last name, Laporte, just signed off, and I talked to them earlier today and they were all in favor of it. I talked to Barbara at High Mowing Seed. She was like, I will donate. Just, I told her she didn't need to, we didn't need seeds, we needed support.
Mhm.
I've talked to other people who are for it, but they don't feel comfortable coming here. One person did write a letter and sent it. By way of you, I gave it to you. She sent it and you gave it to Linda.
Yeah,
She has 5 children. She's not comfortable coming to this, but she really, and a few other women today, just like, I'm not comfortable going over there to a meeting. I'm like, okay, but they want it.
And I'm here in support of it, to volunteer for it, to
great.
be a part of it. For time, if that family. But I mean, I think one of the things we were trying to do is also make it educational.
Yeah.
Do, you know, how to prepare seeds for the next year, canning, and the whole grow process. Also make it more apt for people to learn, and
Mhm.
well, that's part of the agenda.
I think that's a great idea. I'm just starting to teach myself how to save seeds from last year. So, and you know, there's other organizations maybe you can network with in terms of having workshops and stuff, or come in here or so forth.
I've talked
At this
with,
space.
I've talked with 3 or 4 people on School Street because they have no property. They said it'd be a great idea for them, so they could have something to grow. The neighbor across from my road at 3899. Harry, he's wanting to do it because he knows it's always flooding.
Yeah.
In Old Phelps property. He's really interested in it, and he's a beekeeper.
Oh,
A young friend of mine has just moved back to the area, young. She's late 30s, but her son, she'll be working and her son is almost 12. He'd probably be spending time with us. And she's, I mean, we do have a garden at our house, but you know, we were talking about doing one over there with him and her when she can be there. And that will keep him occupied and it will help her get fresh food, fresh vegetables, which she likes and needs, and he does.
great. Do you like that plan that Tori?
I mean, we're out of the floodplain.
Yeah.
We're not interfering with the sugaring operation. We're well enough away from the rail trail.
Yeah, I think it's ideal.
Kurt, do you know what kind of soil is in that area?
We don't know until it gets tilled.
Okay. So you know, at one point, at the end of the old schoolhouse down towards the ledges, they dug a well and there was arsenic in it.
That
So,
may be in the ground.
Okay.
We're only going maybe a foot deep.
okay, okay.
We're not going.
I just didn't know if you were aware of that.
Right, I
Yeah,
get that.
okay. All right,
But we're not going 100 feet down.
okay. Oh, yeah, that's true. They probably went way down.
We had to probably go 100. Some of these wells here are over 200.
Yeah.
In depth, so we're only going
I
100.
just never thought it'd be arsenic on this property.
It's the iron
Okay.
and the ledge. But yeah, we're only going to go a foot down. We're not.
And there's no ledge in that area then?
There is in back of the library. That's why it's moved down a little bit.
A bit, okay. Okay.
Plus the sugar maker has one line going. That's another thing we'll have to discuss when he comes for a renewal. That line comes across and will probably interfere with your parking lot for the new library. So we may have to change that agreement after next year.
And you people are always talking about building up the community. And you probably know this, different women at the Hardwick Library knew about this book, but Ben Hewitt, lives in Walden, he wrote this book back in 2009 about how Hardwick grew because of their community garden and composting, and it brought more business into the community. This, would be a help, plus we're talking healthy food and less carbon footprints by trucking in food from who knows where.
I think the whole board's very much in favor of it, so we'll have the minutes with all the people who participated, and like I said, I did receive an email from Barbara saying how much she supported the community garden, which we'll have on record, so we can add that to your application. Actually, so we've had 2 select board meetings taking public comment, and it's on Front Porch Forum. We can add that.
And I don't think it reflects on the board or anyone here about what some of the people in the community said about coming here. A lot of it, I think, has to do with having, what was I told, kind of a stressful society, stressful being in society and that type of thing, and dealing with the public, and they're not.
That's the way I took it.
Well,
That's the way I took it.
yeah, that's what they said to me. It's just,
Some people are not comfortable.
well,
Social
social anxiety, thank you. I knew it earlier. Pull it out now. Yeah.
And so do we have anything else to discuss about the garden? Do we have everything now that you need, do you think? You got from Tori the email with that
Right,
coordinates?
sent the information to
Yeah.
Michelle and I.
Yeah,
So we have that.
okay.
It's just getting some final help filling out the application. And in here it says who's gonna be the, I don't know what you wanna call it, the point person, contact person.
I thought that was it.
That's not me.
Well, I mean, someone's gonna be appointed and I don't wanna step on toes.
But if you get a person.
And well, my thought was that you would kind of set up a little committee. You'd
Right.
be in charge of it and kind of have, you need some sort of structure.
Right.
But we need a go-to person if someone has a problem or someone wants to join or someone wants to donate. Is that you?
It can be.
Yeah.
It's up to what the board decides. I don't wanna. I'd rather have someone that's appointed by the board rather than. I just took this up as a mission because I thought it was really needed.
You're referencing the reuse application, that's what's.
Right.
So if they want to know the responsible entity, though, that would be the town of Wolcott.
Right, well, it would be like, we have committees for forest and, like that and everything, so it would be just kind of like that, right?
But we'd have to set that entity up. And then come forward with names, who's on the committee, who's the head of it.
Well, you've done a lot of gardening.
So why don't we do that? We'll work on this permit, and I can help you with it if you want. And the town of Wolcott will be the entity, but in the meantime, because we know that FEMA is whatever they're doing. We'll get it in, and in the meantime, you can work on your structure. You don't have to wait for that.
Right.
And just kind of bring it to the select board so we know that what's going on.
So the next meeting will have who's gonna be the contact in. I don't think more than 5 people on the committee, just
Yeah, it's too many, it gets wheeling.
it's. Especially when you had 15 or 16 on the forest committee, it's a nightmare.
Yeah,
How many are you down to now?
I think they're down to 7.
yeah, that's what they actually. It's good. Okay, I'll try to do up a draft and get it to you, and then you can look it over and get it in. If, do we have any other comments? And how does the board feel about all this? Have concerns or questions or? Thank you.
Thank you for the info, but kids need it. They need it. We all need it.
Okay, that's a plan.
All right, sounds good. Thank you.
Yep, we'll move on to the select board for.
Linda and I attended a meeting last Thursday on capital planning. I found it enlightening. We did learn a little bit about even, how to roll over the money that were, you know, the undesignated or the leftover town budget. There are new regulations that are less restrictive. So that we can carry over money and it doesn't have to be carried over directly. Like people name
With the tax rate.
doesn't have like to do,
For lower tax rate.
and it doesn't still have to, like if before I was under the impression before, if it was under highway, it had to carry it over into highway. No, that's what it explained to me, but anyway, different regulations. On undesignated funds and on capital planning. It seems like building a capital plan, if it's in our, in the next couple of years, would be a good idea. I pulled together the firehouse subs grant for the all-terrain vehicle to get an all-terrain vehicle for the fire department. Because again, they are tasked now with monitoring like 7 miles of trails, up to 10 potentially of mountainous forest trails, as well as all of the rail trails, and they don't have a vehicle to do that. And so I pulled it all together. The application period was supposed to close, it was opening 4/7/8/7. When I went to submit the application at 8 a.m. on 4/8, it's closed. They had already received 600 applications. So we have it opens every quarter. So what I'll do is on July 9th, when they open it again, I'll resubmit it. Spend all the information put together. It's funny, and it is an actual grant, and it's usually funding goes to fund. It usually goes to fund within a 60-mile radius of firehouse subs, but they do fund outside of that on special or for special requests. I gave Linda the Bradley Horseman designed a new logo for the town, and Linda can pass around the sheets. We kind of just wanted approval to move forward to since it's logo on a letterhead in future on any new omnibus that we order. We want to put it on the website and use it in ads in the newspaper. It can be customized because currently it's customized right now to reflect Wolcott Arts Collaborative. But it can reflect any of the committees if they wish to have committees added there, except for like the schoolhouse trust has their own logo. I think we just wanted select board approval or non-approval to move forward with utilizing that logo now.
Right now,
right now.
Live inside.
Um,
You can see the old logo there.
yeah. Um. This is gonna be silly, but, what is the bridge going over if the river is going next to it? In the logo. It really doesn't matter, but it is the first thing that jumped out at me. Like, the bridge doesn't go over the river in the ground.
Well, they're looking at a distance.
Yeah, I guess. I guess it could tuck behind.
Well, no, if you look at it this way, the stream goes here around, then comes down here. So if you're standing by the bridge.
Yeah. Oh, no, I see
and
it.
it goes, that's what you're looking at. Is the river, then the bridge in the background.
No, it's cool. It's a neat.
Well, we never really had a logo. The news system just grabbed that and threw it on there. It was never an official logo.
What's
A
that?
lot of our old policies though.
The sign?
I don't know.
This
It
one-
just
one,
kept
yeah.
being-
Yeah, the old one, the
I
sign.
guess.
The sign site.
Citizen. I
And
don't
it's
know
on,
where it ever came, but we never.
it's on
approved
our
it.
envelopes.
Um,
Yeah, the new one's way more modern.
I mean, if
And I
the
like the black and white version of it too, like, I think that's.
if the river was taken out, I wouldn't,
Oh, I think it's fine.
no, I'm just saying, if it was taken out, it wouldn't matter one way or the other, just to stop the
No,
confusion.
it needs to be there. That's what it goes over.
Well, you gotta remember, it's the last remaining one in the country.
What, the covered train bridge?
Yeah.
Really?
well, it has that, it has that, cupola, special.
No, the
cupola.
cupola.
The steam, yeah, to accommodate steam.
It was a big deal. It was unique.
It was originally 5. That's the last.
Well, whoever tried to take it.
It took
Twice.
out 2.
Yeah.
In one.
Okay, what do we like? Do we like it? Okay.
I'm a little bit less than indifferent, but it could be described as indifferent. I do really like the new logo. I also didn't mind the old one. But somebody is very passionate about it. They're passionate about it enough to make that, and I think it's gorgeous.
That overwhelms your indifference.
It pushes me to like 51.49.
Can I see that little thing there?
I was gonna say the sticker is what sells me, but I've never seen a Wolcott sticker before.
He just made those on his own. I mean, Bradley came up with these on his own when he was trying to do one for Wolcott Arts Collaborative. And so I'm like, maybe whole town can just start using it.
It would be nice to unify things.
I just learned this weekend that the graphic for the Vermont League of Cities and Towns is the cupola from the town of Stratford.
So really,
So from their town building.
The planning commission uses the grid too. Is that what theirs looks like?
The highway does the same. All they use is just the bridge, nothing else.
All right.
highway department.
Yeah, and the truck, the logo on the truck.
The fire department uses the reverse of it. Instead of being this way, it's that way.
I don't even know if I need both, but if you guys.
I'll make a motion we use a new logo.
I second it.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, so carried. Thank you, Bradley.
Yes.
Is it, it says Wolcott, does it say Vermont?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm a
Yeah,
larger.
because that's a problem.
Yeah, Wolcott, Connecticut thinks they're kind of big
Do
deal.
more.
We get stuff, we get road issues from Wolcott, Connecticut. We should have our own this job.
We get taxes.
Yep.
I've been to a robotics tournament, a high school robotics competition. in Wolcott, Connecticut, and it's called Where is Wolcott?
If you try to find any images of anything in Wolcott, you gotta be careful, it's not New York.
Just a brief sidebar on the logo. Are we lettering? Got two new trucks and we don't have either of them lettered. Are we doing that?
They,
Okay.
well, which two, I mean, the
The
new,
silver one and the dump truck still haven't been done.
okay, I think I had heard them talk when I was in there once.
Are we gonna put this on the doors?
Sure, that'll be it.
Sweet.
So the MERC grant, you can see, the attic installation is almost done. It's taking them a little longer than they anticipated. But I think they'll be done tomorrow. They have to come back and, they've removed most of their equipment, so I think they may have. They just have some payment.
I'm gonna show a look at it.
Oh, okay.
Keep going. Thank you.
Oh, so I wrote a letter, Michael is, just taking a look at the final. Michael and I were talking about maybe instead of getting, if it's possible, instead of getting heat pumps in this room. If maybe we can just use the remaining money of the grant to get a new propane boiler. Instead of doing a heat pump, but it's not exactly defined in the energy audit. The energy audit calls for having HVAC upgrades to heat the building. And so I'm writing a letter to see if we can get approval to do that. Tori wasn't sure that we would because she said the town of Johnson did not get approval to do the same thing. But we'll try. If not, then we'll just put a heat pump in here because I don't want to let that money go to waste. And they're already, I heard in May, they're going to be asking us for what unspent funds do we have? And I'm just going to be, we're not ready to go there yet. Because we're still looking at the heat pump. There is also, I guess, as part of the grant that I didn't read that we're required to set up an Energy Star savings account. So I set one up for the town office. I'm still kind of filling out all the work, but you every month then report your monthly savings in electricity. It doesn't seem like you can automate it to your accounts, nor it's automated to the meters. So I don't know if this is another thing I have to do every month. I'm still too new to learning about it, so I'll let you know. The mayor is feeling much better. He's back to his energetic and loving self. The vet gave him a special food, which is hydrolyzed protein, and we'll follow up in 3 months. They want to do another ultrasound on his intestines to see if the thickening of the intestines is reducing. For FEMA, I don't know if I told you last week, I signed the work completed contract and it's now awaiting the obligation phase. And that's with FEMA, and I just want to note again that the state won't pay any of the money, they're 12.5% until all of the 2024 flood work is done. And then I mailed the easements for the East Hill culvert. I'm still waiting to hear the scope of work change, taking it from the A&E from the design to the implementation stage, if that's been approved. I asked Joseph today and he is still checking in. It's just taking them forever to do that. We will need another extension on that because it expires July 1st. The highway department, they're running the grader in shifts to keep up with everything. They did replace the culvert on Baldwin Brook Road, and I think they're trying to do Brook Road tomorrow. They replaced the School Street culvert at McKierney right up the road. Worked overnight last week doing that. We traded in the 2016 truck, so we have a $20,000 check that Belinda asked her to deposit that into the capital funds. We'll keep it there until that's where we designated it to go. I do again want to talk to the board about getting the extended warranty on the 2026. We just have to figure out how to pay for it, $16,000. So how to pay for that, and we'll talk about that, I think, in June, because it's a good time to see what kind of funding we're gonna have left over. Oh, and then Linda and I met with CCS, who is the, right down, they're the ones replacing the bridge, and the state, regarding the additional costs that it's costing the town just for keeping this road and Flatiron Road intact. It cost us $3,000 in materials just for March and April alone, 1,500 in the gravel. It's still an estimate, and then another 1,500 to repair that McKierney Street culvert, which was absolutely flattened. Absolutely, it's a steel culvert, it's completely flattened, and I think with all of the weight going over it on a regular basis added to that. And so we met with CCS, I talked to Brian and Tom, and I asked them to help supplement at least the cost, like buy us a couple loads of gravel to dump down there on occasion. And they did say that they would do that. They did not have the capability of actually helping maintain the road, but they would help us with a couple loads of gravel. They just like us to go over and talk to them on occasion when they feel like he needs another load. And I also talked to them about the speed with which their vehicles drive up and down this road, because we're getting a lot of complaints, and it really is gross or excessive speed. They're backing up at like 25 miles an hour. And they're just constantly speeding around Flatiron Road. So I just asked them to keep in mind that although it's closed, it's still open to the residents. And there's a lot of, their kids and animals that play there. So that is my report.
Yeah, it's 25 miles an hour.
Yeah, well, yeah. Not backing up. I wouldn't think that's the speed we're backing up. I can't find that in statute, but.
Yeah, I noticed when I came over tonight, two of their trucks were probably doing 45, 50.
Yep, it's the white one and the black one, the two pickups. Yeah. They're notorious, but they did have the big, it was like a tandem, it was like a dump truck going back and forth earlier. They think that most of that, and then they need to do one more shipment of the new abutments. And I reminded them that road is normally posted for weight limits, but obviously we have to allow it. But
They'll be coming with a cement truck soon.
yes,
Did they get the overweight permit that they need to run the roads anyway?
I think they.
The $5 permit?
I think they did.
Not that I want to pick on something that's gonna buy $1,000 load of gravel, I just.
They're $10 for it.
$10 and a certificate of insurance, right?
Right.
Well, we have that.
No.
Not
They would have
CCS.
given it to the state. We don't have there with that. We don't have that.
I'm pretty sure that they applied for the overweight. I think I saw CCS.
I was just thinking anyway.
Right, I saw a fully loaded tandem dump truck, fully loaded with gravel, head up East Hill.
Oh, yeah, I told Dylan that, and he said that he was a little frustrated because he had given them permission, I think, for like one load, but not regular load, so
Right.
they were in violation.
Yeah, and was it something that had to be done right now while that paved road is on a soft bed? Could it have waited? Or been done soon?
Well, with somebody's driveway, you said.
Yeah, oh, I don't know that.
Oh, I thought that's.
That's what somebody had suggested to me, that they thought that's what it was, but yeah. That's tough, because we just sunk a lot of money in a pavement that road, right, or we're about to.
No, Town Hill, we're redoing Town Hill.
Yeah, that doesn't even have.
So East Hill had some pavement done not that long ago, right?
Pardon?
East Hill had, I think part of it was paved.
So partially, after the flood in 24, we had it kind of stripped
Okay,
to fill in where it really eroded,
okay.
but it was not, I mean, that's another one we need to get repaved, but Town Hill is in worse shape, so.
Thank you. So we need to finalize the procurement policy. We reviewed it in pretty detail last meeting and Michelle made a few little tweaks. Which were just in the first purpose, we switched around, we took out, well, we added the Wolcott Athletic Association, because they have a different EIN number, where we took them out. The fire department, the school, and the community trust had a different EIN number. You said there were no other changes.
Not other than what we talked about in the last meeting.
Mhm.
I just implemented those changes.
So are we ready to adopt?
Given that you've taken out the other outside agencies, are we gonna open this back up when the wastewater becomes a thing? Because that's a separate entity?
No, it's the town, if the town owns it,
Okay,
but it's the same,
it won't have a different tax number.
no,
Okay.
no, it'll belong to us. No problem.
Kind of like transfer station.
Well, it'll be treated as an enterprise, but it's still, the transfer station still belongs to us.
That's why it wasn't listed there, correct?
So this is updated mainly to bring us into compliance with new federal and state regulations, and we need to do it for our audit. So do we have a motion to adopt, or revise and adopt the new procurement policy?
I'll make the motion that we adopt the new procurement policy.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Okay. Approve the 2026 local emergency management plan. And you all were given a copy last meeting.
I emailed it.
Yeah, the review. I tweaked it a couple places, but
You just, yeah, you tweak that
we don't take mattresses.
and then a phone number.
Yeah. Other than that. Ryan's reviewed it.
Yes.
Any blessing?
He did say that Steve Prince, he's looking for a new assistant, EMD or what is it, EMC? But he wanted to keep Steve until he finds anyone.
Do you have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve the emergency management plan. There's a mitigation second.
Vote. Yeah. In a second,
I'll second.
any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay. And this doesn't get signed, I guess. Just. Adopted. Approval to sign wastewater planning grant. I got an email last week from DEC saying that I needed to sign this grant ASAP. And I didn't know anything about it, so I called and I had a talk with them. Come to find out, in 2004, the town signed, some paperwork to do a feasibility study for wastewater. At the time, I guess the town was under the assumption that it was a grant. And the people in DEC kind of thought so. But there's nothing written down about it. And that person has left and retired, and the new people that came on with DEC said, no, 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 the town needs to pay back $35,000. It wasn't a grant. So they're helping us apply for the state revolving loan program to in the amount of $35,000 to pay that.
What is the name of the loan?
State revolving loan program funding, yeah. It's through Vermont Water and Wastewater Revolving Loan Funds, Department of Environmental Conservation.
Wastewater revolving fund.
Vermont Water and Wastewater Revolving Loan Funds. In the legislature, they have this line item every year, they fund money in the budget for these sort of things. Also, like, low income people can apply. Reading their septics and stuff. Anyway, I'm just looking for authorization to sign this and get this in.
So this was money that was given the town in 2004.
22-year-old, that's what they're calling.
Calling in.
And we are taking out a loan to pay it off.
No, we're filling out this application. We're filling out this application,
Okay,
getting the money from the state, pay them back.
Is this application?
Why don't you just go
I
like
don't
this?
So are we gonna be on the hook for that? That 35 grand?
well, what is 35 grand worth in 2026 money? 2004, yeah.
I don't know.
Especially if you go at 8% interest.
Yeah, I'm struggling.
That's
The
inflation.
town of Wolcott has been investigating options to address wastewater limitations in the designated village center along School Street Route 15 for many years. A feasibility study was completed in the mid 2000s.
It ought.
In 2020, engineer, what's that have to do with anything?
I would say.
So this loan request is for 35,000. It's kind of tied into what we're already getting from them for the present one. I don't know, I was just told I needed to ASAP sign this grant, get it over, so we didn't have to pay the $35,000 back.
I'm worried because I keep hearing the word loan.
This doesn't make sense.
Right here, so no SCF prepared for this application. The application is for PC grant funds only, not a CWSRF loan. And is being submitted per the urgent request of this person.
The NAC who's overseeing our wastewater project now.
The project will be funded by village wastewater, clean water, revolving funds, subsidy and loan. So what I read there is that we're not on the hook for that. It's a grant only. It's a grant funded by the Clean Water Revolving Loan Fund.
Right.
which will cover the cost of the initial study done 22 years ago.
Yes,
Okay,
something like that.
let's do it.
It's like, that's insanity.
And the kicker was I couldn't open it. And I had to go to Tori. I had to make an appointment for her to even open this thing.
Do we have any deliverables? Do we have the 2004 study?
Were you select board member then?
Oh, no.
I remember we did this study. Fred was on there, Bob Vise. And so then, they wanted to go the next step. It was $10,000 and they said no, and they never finished it.
I remember reading about it in the paper in like 2018, 19, but 2004, holy moly.
Well, we've done, this is like the third or fourth
I see.
study of wastewater that we had,
Was Robert Harris on at that time?
maybe.
Who's this $35,000 going to?
State.
The state revolving water and waste fund.
Oh, that's what it's going to, the
Right.
the
Goes back
revolving
again.
loan fund.
Right,
So they'll just use it to loan out to somebody else
right.
and ask them to pay it back in 20 years.
Or two.
Or two. Okay.
I'm surprised they didn't catch it until now.
Well, it's because Eric Blatt retired.
And they were trying to clean up all the
And
records.
yeah,
Never closed out so many records, and they're probably having a hell of a time right now.
Eric Blatt was his name?
you don't need to put it in there though, please.
Not an important part of the story.
But it is names.
No,
The name is not.
It's just amazing, 22 years.
I can't. It's very
I'll
long.
tell you this later.
All right, so just before I make the motion, one more time, real slow in English if you can. You're signing, we are going to motion to authorize for you to sign this. It is going to be at no cost to us. You're signing the grant application so that the people at the state can take money from their left pocket and put it in their right pocket.
Pretty much is my understanding.
Okay.
What's it a great savings though?
Well, and yeah.
And this is the PCF grant you said? To apply for PCF grant funds, just to be specific?
No, it's just the state revolving loan program.
Yeah.
No, well, it does say this application is for PC grant funds only, not clean water state revolving loan. And it is submitted per the urgent request of Lynette. This project will total amount $35,000. That's the only part I remember or get. Plan to submit to step 3 loan application and check the PC grant application box ASAP. Is what she told me. This will be necessary for the EPA-PC grant issue.
Yeah, it says a couple of times here that this application is solely for PC grant funds to reimburse the town's 2003, 2005 engineering planning advance for feasibility study. So that,
Check the PC grant application box. Where's that? I'll look after.
Yeah, where that there's a, because like Dolan said, I keep hearing the word loan.
Because it's the loan fund.
All I said was, do you know what she's talking about?
I don't want to sign any promissory notes.
Yeah, I mean, it says in here that project is fully funded. I mean, it has all the right words, and I don't see anything about an interest rate or a loan term or. So, I mean, sure, sign the application, but that doesn't tie us to the money.
Got a motion?
Would be at 8%.
Yeah, I'll make a motion that Linda signs the grant application. I'll second.
I just read that motion to you. Earlier, I recorded that there was a motion by Parity to authorize Martin to apply for the state PC grant funds to pay this money back at no cost to the town, seconded by Kirsten.
The words are out of my mouth.
I think that was the point.
Getting a grant to pay the loan.
No. We're getting a grant to pay a advance. Which I guess that is a loan.
Yeah, but the advance is 22 years old. We're getting a grant to reimburse an advance that's 22
I
years
would
old.
say
This application is solely for PC grant funds to reimburse the town's 2003, 2005 engineering planning advance for feasibility study. Maybe if you didn't go on and continue, you had to pay it back. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, we
Because
had,
it's called a planning advance.
Yes.
yeah, we had a couple was like that prior. Where if you decided to start, you couldn't stop.
It's like buying sunscreen. Everything relates to sunscreen.
$65.
Who's in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, so carried. I'll figure it out. Someone.
Good catch.
So Nolan wanted to talk about, using the space for driver's ed and relationship to, his new position on the board.
Yeah, so, I don't know if, I know Linda knows, I don't know if the rest of the board knows. I attended the Vermont League of Cities and Towns, event for new select board members on Saturday and, basically got the big picture view of all the most important things that a select board member should know. Including a very lengthy discussion on conflict of interest, which made me just, I don't know, perk my ears up about this. The select board had allowed me in the past to use this space at no charge to run driver's ed classes. Now, I'm running driver's ed classes, and it's my own personal business. I charge students for the class. My ultimate goal is to do this profitably, but it has not happened yet. But I want to make sure that my relationship with renting or using the space is in line with whatever town policy would be for anybody using the space. So that's kind of where I had my mind. And so I wasn't sure what the typical way to use the space is, so I just want to make sure we're lined up. So if you guys know more, Be a good time.
It's my opinion, we'd let you do it before you were a member. I see no reason why you being a member and dedicating even more of the life that you had already volunteered here should stop you from something we agreed to before. When you make your first million, we can revisit.
Okay.
Are you comfortable with that?
Yeah, I'm comfortable as long as, I'm abstaining from any official action and that, if it's in line with, any other users of the space, use the space. So, yeah, I can think of Girl Scouts.
We have like the Hardwick Rescue is coming in a month. We have the TAC committee, the TAC will be here in a little bit. So yeah, we do the rail trail people would use the space. So a lot of other organizations just call us and we don't lease it. We just, if it's available based on the calendar.
Yep. So
That's my experience with this space.
So there'll probably be a few dates where I'd want to reserve it. But I've actually started moving my classes into a hybrid situation where it's sometimes in person and sometimes on Zoom. So, so as an example, on Monday night, 2 nights ago, I came in here by myself. I was the only person in the room, but I used the town's internet connection on my laptop to have my class. That was a decision because it's just a little bit more of a quiet space for me to do that. I probably could do it from my car, and I have, but it's just a bit more comfortable space. I'm planning to run another small class starting in May, and there would be 3 nights that I'd like to be in the space, and hopefully that'd be okay to just reserve those 3 evenings. And the rest I might, unless there's any objection, come in and be in the space by myself if it's available. And when it's not, I'm just not here. See a lot of nodding.
No opposition from me.
Okay. Do you want to do anything official on the record or just continue to let it go the same way we let it go?
As long as there's no conflicts.
So, in my opinion,
Yes.
because you are running a business and the other groups that are using it are like a nonprofit, just in terms of
I think
my recommendation is that we just ask for a donation, which we do to other organizations, and whether that donation is $10 or $5, it doesn't matter, and we will never know, really. But if someone asks me, I can say we are charging them just like we charge other people, by donation. I mean, that's what we do with AA, and that way you can kind of just alleviate that.
And would the donation be to the town of Wolcott?
Yeah.
Just that?
Yes.
Town of Wolcott?
It doesn't matter. You don't even need to know.
Okay.
Can even be cash unless you want to write it off.
Well, that'd be nice, put it on the books for my business.
I'm not talking a lot of money.
Yeah, it's okay.
I'm talking about the act.
I'm not making
The act
money,
of
so.
doing, the act of doing it, I have no idea what AA pays. They take a donation monthly a day.
It'd be between me and the treasurer.
Yeah, it just gives us a donation.
Yeah.
For the carpet.
I would feel more comfortable doing it that way.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was donation based, but yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Okay, so that's basically the information I was looking for, is what is typical And I want to be in line with that, so that there's no appearance.
The Girl
on-
Scouts don't give us money, but they usually do a community service for us as exchange for using it.
You need a vote, or is this?
No,
Well, and just while I have you, and it's in my head, we need to get you to take the ethics training. So,
Okay, online ethics.
yeah, so you have to take that.
Is that through what we should also?
No, I think it's for the state.
Mhm.
I'll pull it for you. Pull it together, I'll email you the info.
I think we built the ethics board.
Oh, you're right, no,
But the state's ethics board.
okay, so they have one person working, but we're still all required to do the training, they're just not gonna, they don't have the staff to monitor us.
Ah.
But yes, we still.
No hard days there.
So we're doing ethics training on our honor.
Yes.
No conflict.
It's a very good way.
I mean, that checks out, right?
So you might not have heard me mention to Belinda, but the amount of money that I checked with Tori to take out our revolving loan fund or credit, line of credit is 1.124 million. That is the amount that was on the bond vote and
1.124 million.
yeah. And that any, bank, shouldn't hassle us because we've already gotten voter approval for that.
Okay, so I have 1.124 million credit line to be taken out for July 1st.
I'll know better, so what's April? Yeah, we're hoping in 6 to 8 weeks it'll go out to bid, let me find out, let me give you an exact date, maybe we can wait till July 1st, I'm not sure.
So you give Belinda.
So I had a call, email from someone from Senator Sanders' office about our congressional district spending grant. He was reviewing it. He had some questions about, one of the things is you have to have your hazard mitigation plan in place, adopted. Ours is expired last November, but Megan helped me write up, the process we're going through in terms of Vermont Emergency Management reviewing it and so forth. It seemed to satisfy him. So I sent that along, but also his other question was, would we be willing to lower the amount of money we were requesting or contribute more to it? So we were requesting, I guess 1.698 million for that project. I told him that I thought that the town could possibly, it was 170,000 that we were gonna contribute. We could possibly contribute up to 200,000, but that I did not have select board approval to tell him that at the time, and he was fine with that. So just wanted to let you know, I don't know if it'll come back or not, or we'll even get selected.
Linda, was this for the Flatiron, river abutment?
Flatiron Road flood mitigation.
This is the project that was on the brick grant that pulled those.
Yeah, so the brick grant only pays for 30% design. This one split. This
Actually
one
gets the concrete out of it.
finishes
Okay.
it finishes the design and implements it all.
Yeah, it's been, because we're coming up Flatiron Road now, every time we come here, it's been right there, front and center, watching the spring flow go around them.
Go around the old abutments and continue to take that on the road.
Yep.
I don't have anything else. Does anyone else have anything?
Okay, so just so I captured that last bit, you said that, are you asking the select board for approval to?
No, I had to respond by Monday. So I told them we could possibly contribute up to 200,000, but at this time I did not have the select board approval for that. Just to let them know. But if I had to let them know, have all the answers by 10 o'clock on Monday morning.
Sounds reasonable. Sounds reasonable to people. That's what it takes. That's the difference. Get that stuff out of the river.
And where does the 200,000 come from? Other grant?
Capital fund, that's what.
Oh,
But it would give us time, I mean, to put more money in there too, because, you know, a lengthy process, I mean, it probably, who knows if they even get awarded again, but it'll, you know, has to go through Congress and then has to be authorized, and then we have to hire an engineer, blah, blah, blah. It could be 2 or 3 years, I mean, we could save up some more money if we knew.
We should have a running list of the potential grant matches. I know I lose sight of how much money we've said we would find if we ever got the grants awarded to us.
Right.
A lot of them are to do with engineering and it's always 25 to 30%.
Yes.
Well, there's a bunch of them in the minutes here.
Mike makes a good point. It'd be nice to just have all that in one place.
Well, I'm wondering now if I can, I hate to be a techno slave, but if I can leverage AI to scrub the website for minutes of grant funding.
Go for
And see what I can do. I'll play with
it. Hey, you can scrub YouTube too.
Yeah.
Scary.
Just make sure you save your mom.
Yeah. No, with, again, I should be working for Google the amount of times I talk about this, but with Notebook, I can plug in our website or even upload our minutes. It'll search only that stuff.
Yeah, so last week, North Wolcott Road for the bridge was, a $9,000 match, and for Flatiron Road, there's a $7,500 match. And for this thing is, presently
175 or 170.
179, I thought. Yeah, I think it's a good idea too, because then I go back through the minutes and try to find it.
If we just had a master
Well,
list.
it's 170.
Yeah.
A little less, but we had the money for the bridge permit before, but then we spent it.
Yep.
Because we didn't get it.
Yeah.
Motion to adjourn,
I'll make that one.
second,
I'll second.
need a second.
7:54, meeting's adjourned.
Well, April's a nice time to have a select. Like 8 both times.
3 times.
3 times.
Yeah, we got 2 weeks off.
Yeah.
Really?
I like,
That's twice a year.